Hey everyone, it's Melissa. Let me make sure we are set up here for today's session in the Bakery Business School Facebook group. Now, if you are for some reason viewing this on another platform like YouTube or somewhere else, you can always come to Facebook and join us here in the group to get these sessions live. If you don't want to be on Facebook, I totally get it. No worries. So you can see links on YouTube sometimes. Not all of them are going to be up there though. And you can also join the email list and I will send replays, but they will be linked here usually in the Facebook group. So let me know if you have any issues getting set up with us because we want to give you as much information as we can to help you out. I'm here at 9 a.m. 9 a.m. Pacific Standard Time every Thursday in the group right now, sharing a little bit of info with you every week. My name is Melissa. I'm the owner and CEO at Build a Better Bakery, where our goal, my goal and my team's goal, is to make baking business as simple as possible for you because it can get kind of confusing with all of the little moving parts. So we want to make it simple with step-by-step accessible information and genuine support. And today is an example of that type of support. For today's topic, we are going to be finding out if hiring for your baking business makes sense. I want to ask you 3 specific questions today so that you can think about the questions, think about your answers to the questions, and then decide if hiring is right for you. Now, if you're here on the replay, go ahead and throw up your hashtag replay. I would love to see that in the comments. You can always check the events in the Facebook group to find out when our next session is. But like I said, it's at 9 a.m. Pacific Standard Time every week. Sometimes I don't get the events up very early, so you'll always see me here at that time. You can set an alarm and show up. You can also send me a request, Melissa Fryer, on Facebook to be my friend, and I can send you invites to these events when I make them directly. You will see them send right to your profile. You can also join that email list like I talked about to get weekly replay links that I send out along with other resources for baking business for you to look through and check out. Okay, just want to let everyone know I'm not seeing comments. Sometimes Facebook hides them from me. So if they are, I will get back to you after this event and respond to any questions you might have. So make sure to post them up there. Okay, so topic of hiring. When we get busy in our businesses, especially if we're working alone, or if we want to expand from what we're already doing, we often think about the possibility of hiring help, right? It's kind of one of the first things we're like, we need some help. What are we going to do? But how do you know if you should even attempt it? There are 3 questions today that I want to cover so you can figure that out first. All right, now, after you hear these 3 questions, you can get out a notepad, a pen, and write down some of your answers. You can always contact me via DM if you want to chat about it more. We can set up a private coaching call. There's lots of options to get you some help on figuring out if hiring is a good option for you or not. So this is not the end all be all. There's going to be other opportunities for us to go further down into the hiring topic. Today, we're going to contemplate on some questions about your income goals, your boss style, and your larger plan. Those are 3 things we're going to talk about. First question, how will you pay them? No matter if they're a contractor or an employee or whatever they are, how will you pay them? Because that's kind of why they're there, right? They're there to make some money. Maybe they're a friend and they want to help you, and that's all well and good, but we should be paying them for their time, right? So labor is going to be one of your highest business costs, usually rivaling your rent if you have a rent payment, and if you don't, it's going to be definitely a pretty high cost compared to a lot of the other things going into your business. So do you know your numbers well enough to move funds around? If you can do that, raise your prices accordingly to help pay for the overhead, for the payroll, for these people, etc. How is the payment to them going to work? Because if you're working for yourself and you want to hire without adjusting anything, what does that mean? The money's going to have to come from somewhere. So effectively, you're going to be handing over your own pay to that person or a portion of it when you hire a helper. So you have to think about first, like what are the logistics of actually getting someone in here? Now, I'm personally a big believer in paying someone well for their time. I'm talking so well that it would be hard for them to choose to stop working for you. So if you were to do that as well, if you're thinking, I'm going to do that, I don't want anyone to leave, I want to make sure people appreciate working here. Again, how are you going to situate the numbers to make that work for you? And it might end up, depending on what's going on, it might end up that you do less work and you also take a pay cut. so that you can get a break or do some other part of the business, because now you're going to be working with people. You're going to be dealing with them on top of your business. So it's not just baking and decorating and whatever you're doing. You're now working with personnel and dealing with schedules and everything that comes with hiring. It's a completely different job if you've never done that before. So just figure out what would need to happen, right, to set that up financially. Are you going to need to triple your sales, right? Are you going to take a pay cut? Are you going to raise prices or adjust offers so that the offers now match having a person hired, as far as the numbers go, as far as the numbers that are coming in and going out? There's different ways to look at it. Everyone's business is going to be a little bit different. Hey, Kelsey. Hey, Sarah. Okay, they're throwing up their hashtag live. They're here live. I'm glad I can see the comments. That lets me know that I can actually see them. So great. If you're here, hashtag live, let me know if you have questions as we move through. Let me know what your answers are, right? If you have an answer to these, you can throw them up as well. All right, second question. Can you delegate as well as forgive? These are two big parts of hiring. Often bakers who work alone or have worked alone for the majority of their baking career have a hard time letting other people take control. That's just kind of part of a creative business. We feel very close to our recipes. We feel very close to our clients. We feel close to the process. And imagining another person doing and having a say in what's coming out of your business can feel kind of strange. I totally get that. So if you were to add helpers, think about, can you pinpoint tasks for them to complete that you are willing to train them in completely? What would those tasks be? Is that enough to keep someone employed? Will that help you or not? Right? So think about the actual process of giving someone work to do. And again, it has to be something that you are confident delegating. So you have to be okay telling someone to do it, telling them how to do it exactly, and then following through with any issues, which comes to the second part of, are you able to forgive? Because whenever you hire someone, you also have to, in the back of your mind, be willing to risk having to come in and fix everything that they've done incorrectly. Every bakery I've ever worked at, this has always been a thing. You will hire a person, they will come in, they will do a job, it will be wrong, and the owner has to come in and do it on their own. They have to throw away product, they have to do XYZ, they may have an angry client, who knows? Okay, so you have to be willing to do that second step of coming in and fixing things if they mess up. So can you deal with letting other people have a hand in your business and maybe they'll do something wrong? Is that something you have the capacity for? Can you forgive them? And what does it look like in your business environment to forgive? How would that play out in your head? How would it work if you had an employee mess up? And then what's the next step? They need to know all of that before they get hired anyway. So that's something to kind of brainstorm as well. Sarah says, I've had a few supervisor positions in the past. It's interesting that most people will do what you tell them to do just because you're in the position of not even that much authority. Yeah. Well, I mean, I think a lot of it, they want to keep their job. So and you could tell me what you think. The positions that I've had, I've noticed it's been more, they need the job and they need the money. So they're willing to do what I say because they know that means that they'll probably keep their job. I don't know if it had really anything to do with me. I think if we had a relationship, sometimes they were okay with it because it's me and they trust me. But I do think that trust, and as far as like the forgiveness that I just mentioned, how is that going to look for you? They're going to have to trust you a little bit to feel comfortable working there. But that's interesting that tell me your supervisor positions, what kind of industry was that in? Let me know. All right, let's move on to the third question. What do you want the future to look like? And this may seem like a simple ask, right? And you might not even know for sure, but I want you to realize that when you plan out your hiring, you're involving someone else's life. So it's kind of important, right, that you think about, what are my future plans? They probably might need to know them if you want to kind of let them know what they can expect for their hired position, because you want to plan around the bigger picture, not the day-to-day. It might feel like day to day if you really just need a break and you need someone to help you, but if you can think just a couple months or even a year in advance to better understand how you're going to involve them, either short-term or long-term, that's going to be better for everybody. So maybe you just need help over the summer, right? So consider a short-term contractor who needs minimal training, or hiring out other professionals for smaller jobs instead of an employee or someone that you have a lot of training to do, right? Like if you just need a little bit of help for short-term, you're better off with something short-term, and letting them know that and having them understand that. A lot of contractors, that position, they already understand that. So and knowing the difference between a contractor and employee is important too. Or let's say you want to open a storefront or expand indefinitely. Maybe that's your long-term goal. Then at this point, you'll probably want the full hiring spread, right? You're looking to pay rates for long-term commitment. You're looking to train as much as possible because you are growing a long-term employee. You're looking at someone who you want to keep around. You don't want to keep switching employees. That's a lot of time and money spent and wasted when people leave. So you want them to be the right person, and you want to train them correctly, and you want to pay them correctly so that they stay. You might also consider working up some kind of ladder of promotion for them, right? Giving them a goal to work towards, or certain benefits for your workers to keep them around long term. Those could be lots of different things. They could just be perks. They could be lots of things, but thinking about long term. Think about what you want your future to look like. How can these employees fit into the puzzle as you choose them based on specific needs for the position? Or do you need more of a contractor style or just a short-term helper that's in and out? And as you formulate these ideas, you're also going to be thinking about the pay, which was question 1, any benefits you want to add on, opportunities and training that's going to be included with that hire. So let's say you thought about these questions, right? That's not the end of the story. There's lots more to do with hiring. We've just asked, does this seem like a good idea for you? Those are the 3 questions I would start with. Sarah says, one, she worked at Cinnabon, and the other was testing Xbox 360 games for a living. I did not know that about you. Those are interesting jobs. Cool. Okay. So again, you've asked yourself these questions. You are ready to learn more about hiring because we haven't talked about how to do it. We've just talked about, does this seem like it would work for you? And this is just the tip of the iceberg today. That's all we're going to cover today because I'm not sure where everyone's sitting with this. We haven't talked about how to actually do it in a way that's effective and protective for you and your business and for them. Because again, you're bringing in a person, you're bringing in their life, you're becoming a large part of their everyday. So we want to make sure everyone's feeling good and everyone's a good fit for each other. For those who want to dive deeper on the subject of hiring, such as how to run an interview, what types of interviews are best for baking business, what to look for in a good helper, what are the aspects you need to look at to decide if it's a good chance to take on someone new, what are some things to look at? The difference between an employee and a contractor, those are super important. You have to get that right. And other aspects of hiring for your business from start to finish. You can find a full training on hiring amongst the other insightful trainings inside the Elite Training Vault. We have a whole bunch of videos in there. They're specific videos. You don't have to watch them all. You can watch all of them. You can binge them. You can just take the ones you need, whatever. It's all in there, 24/7 access inside the Elite program, which I've talked about a couple times here in the group. So you'll definitely be one step ahead once you start hiring because you'll have that wisdom behind you of, oh yeah, I need to look for this. Oh yeah, I need to ask that. Oh yeah, we need to do this with that training session that I mentioned. And it's open, it's available 24/7 when you're in the program. So you can watch it over and over again. You can comment with questions. You can send mentors questions in our private group to get more, as you go step by step through hiring, we can just walk through it with you and help you as you move through the process. We can just make it a more joyful process for everyone. It doesn't have to be scary. It doesn't have to be difficult. It can be simplified if you know how to go through the process step by step. So starting at the cost of a reasonable dinner out for any of those who are interested, for $39 a month, you can get your hands on that deep dive hiring session that's in the training vault. I mentioned there are a variety of other insightful sessions all about making baking business simple. So everything from communication skills to copywriting to photography, food photography specifically, to website building, to social media and marketing up and down, Facebook, Instagram, everything that you need to know about that. Lots of information about setting up the business, running the business, and growing the business. That's what we have in our vault. And if you would like, you can join today if you want. It's one of those where you can just hop in right now. It's an open door. And you can stay as long as you want. There's no contract or anything like that. You can choose an upgraded tier if you would want to get your hands on weekly group coaching, which is something that logging in once a week and asking a question or two can help people feel really supported. So there's a tier for that. And you can even go a little bit higher and grab yourself private one-on-one coaching that you can set up on your own time schedule. That's really nice too. If you have big topics you want to cover fully with me in person, we can do that together as well. So making baking business insightful and fun and joyful rather than being alone is what we like to do in that group. You just got to decide if your business is worth that type of investment right now. If you want to put some money towards growing it or getting it started or getting it refined, that's what we offer in that program. And as always, I'm here to field any questions. If you want to know more about the Elite program, to find out if you're a good fit, I have free calls that we can set up and just chat on the phone or on Zoom and see where you're at and see if it would work for you. You can also find more information on the website, which is at buildabetterbakerynow.com. You can go there anytime, check it out. It's in the navigation. If you would prefer to look at it on your own instead of DMing me, you can also just send me a message and we can chat. Might be easier that way. So there's lots of help available for you, but it's up to you, right? Like making the first move, reaching out, and making it your reality. I can be here and tell you that the help is there, but if you don't take it, if you don't put your hand out and accept, then we can't work together. So that's why I like to mention it off and on in the group so you know it's available and open. The Elite program isn't always going to be open full time. Sometimes I close it down for no new enrollments. So getting in and getting information before it closes down is probably better if you want to start getting more information specifically about hiring and lots of other parts of your business, because we're here for you. Okay. All right. I don't see any new comments, so I'm going to head out for the day. I hope you have a lovely day yourself, a lovely Thursday. I'm going to go downstairs and flood about 100 cookies. So I will see you all later, and I'll be in here next week with a new topic for you to touch base on baking business, making it simple for you. All right. See you later.